Over the years, I've had the opportunity to sit down with Procurement and Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, Chief Executive Officer Dr. Clever Ruswa, to discuss the public procurement sector in the nation of Zimbabwe. Of course, that was before an additional further on his cap through the African Procurement Public Network. Of course, congratulations, Dr. Ruswa, on the cap.
Thank you so much.
Let's discuss procurement. Over the years, we've managed to sit down, but after our discussions, one question always pops up when people look at our discussions, and that is the role of PRAZ in Zimbabwe's procurement sector, number one, and the broader economic system.
No, thank you so much for that question. You would find that public procurement, especially in our current setting, macro environmental issue, it is one which sort of occupies and spends much of our budget, especially in terms of our GDP. If one is to look at our GDP, almost 20 to 25% of that is spent through public procurement of goods and services. So basically what we are looking at there, those are large volumes. And in other jurisdictions, and more so especially in our jurisdictions, public procurement is also used to then prop up our economy, especially if we support our structures, be the SMEs, MSMEs, or those other corporates. Definitely it can bring a lot of economic activity in a nation. So this is where we come in. We try to regulate such by making sure that aligning both with our constitution and also our act, issues to do with equity, issues to do with fairness in that space, and more things which are very topical, like nowadays, value for money. Yeah, this is where we then come in to say, whatever we are doing at the end of it all, are we having value for money in terms of our spend?
You brought up the issue of the act that governs PRAZ as an institution. The Act stipulates how you must regulate the sector, but does not talk about how you measure how you do the implementation of that. So as an institution, I'd like to know, what are some of the key performance indicators that you are using to measure success or failure on your part?
So you would find that, fortunately, if we are to look at the whole of government, there are now key performance indicators which are set, and also even key performance appraisals which are done. So for us now, it's aligning one with the compliance issues, right? We don't work in isolation. We are talking, if we are looking at NDS 1 and the national vision, we are saying what is our mandate, right? You find us on the governance pillar and also on the knowledge pillar out of the 14 thematic areas. So when you are looking now at the governance, is what we measure is that alignment to say whatever we are doing, we are aligning with the dictates of such.
Of course, with your role as the president and chairman of the African Public Procurement Network, you're leading a total of 54 countries. Of course, 46 are the ones that are active.
Yes.
But how are you bringing that experience from the continental point of view to ensure that the procurement practices in Zimbabwe are, number one, sustainable and equitable in terms of the line ministries that you are working with as an institution?
Thank you so much. So you would find that Zimbabwe as a country, we are also a signatory to some of the issues, be it regional, SADC, or be it at continental level, or other groupings like COMESA and all. So in this particular instance, if we are talking of the Agenda 2063, where the ultimate vision of the African continental free trade area and the AU, as a country, we are now saying, in our day-to-day, what are we doing aligning to that vision? The sustainability now of our procurement processes, the promotion of intra-trade within the sub-region and also the continent as a whole. So having done that, as a regulator now, we then sit and agree to say, in order to achieve such vision, are we aligning our laws to that? One such is when we're talking of domestic preferencing. Yes, we've got a global picture which we'll be looking at, but the best, what is it that you are doing to support our individual industries as they are aligning to such? So broadly, there's a lot of learning which happens between ourselves. Occasionally, like monthly, we've got those be it webinars where we are sharing notes and comparing notes to say, with the advent of the electronic government procurements and in other digital platforms, what is it that is happening in other jurisdictions? Like in our case, you would find that some others, especially in terms of electronic government procurement, they started early, but we had to leapfrog and we had to do it in record time. So these are some of the advantages now of also collaborating at a continental level.
I want us to close with two issues. Number one, when one hears of PRAZ, there is a general connotation that comes with that. I remember when you launched the EGP system at HICC, where His Excellency presided over the ceremony, he gave a joke about how he was flying over Chishawasha and saw big houses and thought, definitely this must be PRAZ because of the corruption that is mostly associated with procurement systems. Let's talk about that, number one. Number two, you recently signed an MOU with the National Competitiveness Commission. This is meant to enhance best practices in procurement and also forward pricing. How have you dealt with these two animals? Number one, the animal of corruption, forward pricing, and how will this particular MOU enhance your practices?
So, starting with the first one, where we are saying the perception around corruption and procurement in whole, this is where probably the reasons why the Act was enacted and promulgated, so to speak, to say there must be a regulator who then sees how people are aligning to some of the aspirations, especially the spirit in which the Act was then put in place. Yes, there are gaps. But one of the gaps which we are trying to close is that one of capacity gaps, right? As a regulator, you would find that we are reaching out time and again to conscientize our practitioners to say aspects of value for money. What is it that we are doing for such? Then the continuous professional development, where we are making sure that these practitioners, they give proper technical advice. And also having those structures, the checks and balances, right? You have got the procurement management unit headed by qualified procurement professionals. You have got an evaluation committee, which is structured to also govern some of these things. That's the one. Then on your second part, where you are asking about our MOU with NCC, we are saying people or the general citizenry, when it comes now to issues of procurement, because of the fluidity in the environment and the other challenges because of economic restrictions, it's not a structured way, and people were then using a lot of arbitrage, forward pricing, like we've rightly said. But here we are saying we are not coming up with the price controls, but this is national price index, which then governs to say for a certain product, it is within this price range. So anything outside that, then there must be justifications. That way, once we standardize things along those lines, we feel that there will be sanity in the environment, and especially with the advent of EGP, the general citizen will be able now to see real time who bought what and where at what price. So that alone, one, it will bring competition, and also it will bring sanity into the whole space.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rousseau, for speaking to us.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Clever Rousseau, the Chief Executive Officer of the Procurement and Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe. He says that PRAZ is aiming to bring back sanity within the procurement sector. I'm PJ Nagoli. Goodbye.